Hey Pac-12 fans, and welcome to West Coast Breakdowns. In today's video, we're going to look at a defensive adjustment that helped the Cal Bears shut down Ole Miss's explosive plays after a pretty brutal first quarter. On paper, Ole Miss's quarterback Shea Patterson had a great game against the Bears last Saturday. He was well over 50% completion percentage, had nice yards per attempt, 363 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns. If we dig a little deeper, though, we see that half of Patterson's yards and both of his touchdowns came on 3 explosive plays from the first 20 minutes of the game. Take away those 3 plays, and the rest of the game looks much more pedestrian. That's not meant to discredit these 3 plays, which were great passes by Patterson. It's just to show how uneven his production was. If we want to understand why this game turned out the way that it did, then we need to understand why these big plays happened early and why none of them happened in the last 40 minutes of the game. When we look at these 3 plays, we see that all 3 of them targeted the outside receiver to the wide side of the field. Let's look at the first of these plays. On this play, we see that Cal's in their base 3-4 defense and that they've got a safety spun down over the slot receiver. They're bringing the right outside linebacker as their 4th pass rusher and then dropping the remaining 3 linebackers into coverage. Now remember that I said that this play was going to target the outside receiver to the wide side of the field, and we can already see that this is going to be a problem when we look at the alignment of Cal's deep safety, who's lined up on the hash away from that receiver. This is going to leave a redshirt freshman cornerback on DK Metcalf, and the results are predictable.
Patterson, off play action, he wants a deep ball again. Drops it into Metcalf, inside the 5.
2 drives later, and Cal comes out in the same defense. They're in their base 3-4 with the one safety spun down over the slot receiver and the other one deep on the weak side hash. They're bringing their right outside linebacker on the rush and dropping the other 3 backers into coverage. Ole Miss's slot receiver's running deep here, and that's going to occupy Cal's deep safety in the middle of the field, opening up a void in the intermediate middle. On this play, Ole Miss is targeting that outside receiver on a slant, and when the cornerback and linebacker fail to make the tackle, it's off to the races, and the Rebels get their first touchdown of the game.
DeMarcus Lodge to the house! That's an Ole Miss touchdown!
By the early second quarter, Cal started to adjust, and on this play they're in their little nickel package with 2 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, and 5 DBs. They've also adjusted their coverage so that now they have a safety to the wide side of the field. But on this play, the safety bites on the play-action fake, and when the cornerback gets beat in his press coverage, it's another big touchdown for Ole Miss.
Long throw up the seam on a dime! DK Metcalf!
For the rest of the game, Cal kept these big plays contained, and we can see a representative play here in the 4th quarter. Remember that at this point, Cal's gotten beat with a fade down the sidelines, a slant to the middle of the field, and a seam inside the numbers. On this play, the cornerback's playing off instead of pressing, and he's got an outside shade to take away the fade down the sidelines. Cal's also got a safety to the wide side of the field, and on this play, where he doesn't bite on play action, he's in position to make a play on the ball in the seam. Finally, Cal's getting a nice drop by their outside linebacker to the hash mark about 6 yards deep, and that puts him in position to cut the slant. In addition to these coverage changes, however, Cal's also made a change to their pressure package, and that ends up being as important as anything else. On the explosive plays from earlier in the game, we saw that Cal was dropping their inside linebackers into coverage and using one or both outside linebackers in the pass rush. On this play, however, they're dropping both of the outside linebackers into coverage, and this leaves Ole Miss's offensive tackles at a loss for who to block. Meanwhile, they're rushing the 2 down linemen and both inside linebackers to outnumber Ole Miss's interior line 4-on-3. This gets Cal a free rusher and forces Patterson to scramble, where he runs right into the arms of one of those dropping outside linebackers. Cal used a similar interior pressure on their game-clinching pick 6, as well as on the sack that closed out the game.
Here comes the blitz, Patterson under pressure, and that will do it.